Welcome to the University of the Free State.
Wa amohela ho University of the Free State.
Welkom bij de Universiteit van de Vrystaat.
Siyakwamukela eNyuvesi yase-Free State.
Situated in the heart of South Africa, my university is a creation of the past, the present, and the future. Across our 3 campuses, 7 faculties have been home to some of the most magnificent minds. Everything we do is rooted in our values of excellence, innovation and impact, accountability, care, social justice, and sustainability. We have been changing the world for more than a century. We continue to pave the way and inspire a fresh stream of knowledge and skill to follow in the footsteps of our scholars and alumni. We hunger for knowledge that will help us to be better and to do better. Our facilities encourage excellence, pulling us towards the light of new insight and ways of applying what we know. We lead by example, advocating sustainability in everything that we do. While we are making a current impact, we are also steering towards the future with the knowledge and skills we need to take the lead. The next 12 years will be especially significant in our growth as our Vision 130 unfolds, which will peak in 2034 when the University of the Free State celebrates 130 years of existence. Vision 130 is our strategic intent to reposition the university for 2034. Join us on this journey. Together, we will go further.
University of the Free State. It's fantastic to see all of you here, and thank you for your time that you are here this morning with us. So just the proceedings. So the procession will walk in from this way. When the music starts, please rise until they are on the stage, and then you can be seated. Professor Naidu would then also ask you to be seated. But when they come in, please just rise. Right, thank you very much, and enjoy the morning. Thanks for coming.
You may be seated. Dumalang. Let me get that right. Dumalang. Sanbonani. Koemora. And good morning. It's so good to see so many of you. I'm just worried we won't have enough space. Mr. Nico Jansen van Rensburg is not here, but I think we've got to get him to build a bigger hall to accommodate more people. It is my pleasure to welcome all of you equally. Professor Peterson, welcome to your university. I hope you are fine this morning, but I'll say more about that. A special welcome, of course, Prof. Vasu Reddy, he thought he thought he's here like 20 years, but he's still new. It's his first official opening, so welcome Prof. Vasu Reddy to this. And of course, also let me welcome Prof. Dani Vermeulen. I mean, he thought he got away from academia, but he's now acting as DVC academic. I can tell you the previous one was much better looking than you. And of course, my colleague, Dr. Kabela, welcome to you as well. And the registrar, Mr. Nsababa. Special welcome, of course, to Prof. Prince Ngobeni. Where's he? There's he right here. He's very new. He's the new campus principal of our Kwakwa campus. And I will never forget this again because twice I forgot him. Dr. Peter du Toit, our chair or president of the convocation. Welcome, Peter. And of course, Mr. Tema Schlaser, you don't see him here, but he's online in Kwakwa, and a lot of people online on Kwakwa. Welcome to Mr. Temba Shlasho. Mr. Teboho Manchu, the campus vice principal, is also online in Kwakwa. Welcome to him. I know Prof. Pearl Sitole is somewhere around. Prof. Pearl, are you somewhere in the audience? There we are. Welcome our sister from Kwakwa campus, the campus vice principal, academic on that side. The president, Sifundu Masuku, I don't think he's here. I think he's in Cape Town with NSFAS issues, so he's not here today. But also special welcome to other people. I also want to welcome the Dean of EMS, Prof. Berger. Representing Prof. Jita is Prof. Mafora, Dean of Faculty of Education. Prof. Kurt van Zyl from the Health Sciences. Professor Masoka, this is your first official opening. Although you've been here for a long time, it's like you've been here for 10 years with all the problems you encountered and all the solutions you found. So welcome as well. And Prof. Sergis Kamka, you've been here for a long time, but it's your first official opening. Welcome. And of course, definitely new is Prof. Paul Oboloza. You've seen the fun in the last few days when students were there toying outside his office, but he managed very well. So welcome, Prof. Oboloza and the team as well. Now, I actually have an easy task today. And of course, I also want to welcome Prof. Sutton, the acting dean of theology, and great to have you as well. I hope I didn't miss any of the special guests out because they got to give my salary increase at the end of this month. Now, we have a special song that will be sung by our choir, and I'm told that it is the university choir that will sing that special song. And before they come in, before the choir comes in, I believe, and some of you remember last year, we sent them overseas to participate in Sweden. And there they won 2 gold awards in 2 categories. That's the gospel, spiritual, and music of spirit and faith. And the second category they won was the folklore a cappella. They also progressed to the Grand Prix of the Nations, where they received a gold medal. I assume, Alisha, they're going to walk in now, and you're going to give them a real great applause for all their achievements. Let's welcome the choir. That's not the end of them. You're going to see them again. So prepare yourself. And you're going to jiva. I believe you're going to jiva as well. But let's get on with the program. So it's my pleasure, of course, to introduce the most fantastic Vice Chancellor that you can ever have. My bonus has just gone up. Right? But of course, if you don't know who our Vice Chancellor is Professor Francis William Peterson. I just want to emphasize, Peterson is spelled P-E-T-E-R-S-E-N. I've seen some names, P-I-E-T-E-R-S-E-N. I've seen P-E-T-E-R-S-E-S-O-N. We see, you're lucky they didn't say P-E-T-E-R-S-I-N. There's a tennis player, Sinner, and he won recently the Australian Open. Those who watched him, and he's fantastic. So when you Google P-E-T-E-R-S-E-N, you'll find a fantastic CV. I'm not going to read the CV because, of course, you know he definitely is qualified. Otherwise, you would never have appointed him as a Vice Chancellor. But, of course, there are certain things. If you go to the website, you'll see his CV, but certain things are not there. He currently serves, beside, of course, having these fantastic engineering qualifications. I actually dread when I work with engineers because they are too finite and they want things, everything, even the bedsheet must be nice and uncreased and set down there, and nothing must be out of place. And that's a challenge sometimes I have with the VC because everything must be in place, but in a nice way. Recently, of course, he's been appointed a couple of boards. He serves on Biogen, I think he serves on Fruit Trees, and I think there's one more that you serve on, Stone 3 Digital. More recently, he's been appointed to serve, and you like this because he's been appointed to serve in the National Transmission Company, the one of ESCOM. So although you know he's going to serve on that one, when you meet him, don't ask him when load shedding is ending. He won't know. Right? But of course, over and above that, if you look at, he's published over 160 articles. One day, VC, when I get to your age, maybe I'll reach the target of 160 publications. So hopefully, but for a VC to have that amount of publications, it's not only publications. Supervisions of masters and PhDs. So if you think the VC is a political appointment, he is an academic appointment, and he's done fantastic well. He's probably the best VC I worked with, and hold on to him, because you never know what you'll get in the future. I know what I had in the past, but you never know what you get in the future. Okay? And they're laughing because they know I worked at a fantastic university. Of course, last week he did fantastic. He actually built our image to an extent that he was at a mining indaba. He moderated 2 papers, okay, academic related. He was a speaker in one of the AI related ones. So you have a fantastic speaker, you have a fantastic Vice Chancellor, and I don't know what else I can say about VC except to say, thank you very much for leading the institution so far. You've done so well. And some of the things I didn't want to say here because you're going to reflect on our achievements over the last year, and you're going to talk about the future. So let me welcome you to address us on this opening function and the official opening of the university. Thank you very much, Prof. Peterson.
Thank you very much, Professor Naidu. You have taken your seat. Well, let me also say good morning to all the colleagues. Goeiemorgen, Dumelang. A special word of welcome to the Chancellor of the University of the Free State in his absence, Professor Bonang Mohale, the Chair of Council, which is Mr. David Noku, the Deputy Chair of Council, Ms. Turelo Sabisi, the council members that might be here but also might listen to this as a recording, my fellow rectorate members that's already been introduced by Professor Naidu, members of the senior leadership group, and those include deans and also senior directors, the ISRC president and members of the ISRC present here this morning, to friends of the university, and obviously to all of our staff. I also would like to welcome our staff and students on the Kwakwa campus that I know has been live streamed. So good morning to all of you at Kwakwa. And in fact, tomorrow will be the welcoming of the first years on the Kwakwa campus. It is indeed an enormous pleasure for me to address you at the official opening of the University of the Free State. And I would like to say, although it's already middle of February, I would welcome you back, and I hope that you had a well-deserved rest. When I talked to staff members earlier this morning at the entrance, and I asked them actually the question, how was their rest and their leave, and did they take a break? They said, yes, but that's long forgotten. But I know if you reflect back, I hope it was a good one, although it was short. But very importantly, the reason why I wanted to know that is that I would like us to tackle 2024 with renewed energy, with a freshness. And if you haven't rested in the year past, it becomes a little bit more challenging to tackle the year hats on. So for those who are joining the University for the Free State for the first time, and there are a couple part of the senior leadership team, hearty welcome, and I hope that you will have a very long stay here at the University of the Free State, and that stay will be rewarding, because I think that's very important. So I want to start off by saying, because that's probably all that most that you see on the news nowadays, if you look at international news, that geopolitically our world is more interconnected, but at the same time is also more divided and fragmented than ever. Meanwhile, inequality and injustice are reaching critical levels. I believe is a serious obstacle to sustainable development, and sustainable development is one of the areas that we also focus as a university. When global norms collapsed, so does trust. And we know that you can't have good relations if trust is challenged. We have geopolitical turmoil in the world, driven by the wars in Europe and the Middle East that you're all familiar with, and also the sort of tensions that we have between China and the United States. Now, this has resulted in market dislocations, supply chain dislocations, and many economies in the globe that have gone into recession. So uncertainty and volatility in geopolitics on the one hand, but also in global economy are likely to remain in 2024. And I would like to say that inflation is now part of our costs. And I see Professor Naidu and Professor Philippe and members of the finance department, but that is true. They are actually part of our cost. So with that sort of intro, I would like us to think differently, and we have to be more prudent as a higher education sector, and so for the University of the Free State, as we engaging and managing these diverse challenges. Because what's happening globally is impacting South Africa. And what's happening in South Africa is impacting higher education and is impacting the University of the Free State. So that introduction is not to scare you, but it's just to ground us in a sense of reality. So 2024 is the second year of the implementation of, can probably still call it our new strategy, under the umbrella of Vision 130. And as you all know, or most of you would know, Vision 130 is a vision with bold ambitions. A compass that will lead us to 2034, when we will be celebrating our 130th anniversary. So colleagues, this exciting journey is about care. It's being courageous, because we will have to make courageous decisions. And it's also having a strong appetite for curiosity. And we must, that is for me quite important. It's not just a rigid plan, machine type of execution. It's thinking, reflecting, testing, because that is what curiosity is about. Sometimes you have to be courageous in your decision, but we always will do that in an environment of care, because we are people that care for one another. And therefore, that journey is built on the values of the university, values of excellence, of innovation and impact, of accountability. Care is also a value, social justice, and then we're coming back to sustainability. Now, as Professor Nader have indicated, that I will reflect a bit on 2023, but I will do it in an integrated way, integrating the reflection in terms of what we do and what we will be doing in 2024. So 2023 has provided us with initial traction. That is initial traction on our strategy and our vision, but has also identified specific areas where we need to improve to stay on track to deliver on the commitments of Vision 130. So we have analyzed these areas thoroughly and have developed or are in the process of developing specific interventions to get us back on track. And if you remember last year, those that were here, I said that the period when we started the strategy up until 2034 is that every year when we miss a target, when we miss something that we have promised, we will have to work extra the next year, because the time is moving on, but the peg is in the ground, what we want to deliver. Undergraduate student success and overall student employability have been reset and stabilized post the COVID pandemic. Why reset and why stabilized? Prior to before the pandemic, we had a certain success rate. During the pandemic, as you know, we had to rethink the way in which we engage teaching and learning. We went into emergency interventions, and then we morphed into a hybrid. But all of that impacted and testing our thinking. How do we examine? How do we evaluate? How do we assess? And in fact, the higher education sector in South Africa during the pandemic had an increase in the success rate. There are specific reasons why we could say that's the case. So we needed to understand that better, and there we needed to reset and need to stabilize. And with continued engagement and financial advisory support, but also investment from, amongst others, the Kresge Foundation through the Sia Phumelela program, the Department of Higher Education and Training, and the Michael and Susan Dell Foundation. So they were partners as we really work, try to understand what are the key drivers, what's changed, and what we need to do. Now, these investments and the subsequent plans and actions, which were co-created, and I want to emphasize that, our funders nowadays are not just donating, they're actually working with us using their expertise. And that's always something that I'm passionate about, is to say that the development of higher education interventions is not only the role of universities, it's actually the role of different sectors of the economy. And the value, as we value diversity in the university, we also value the diversity of experience and input. So the co-creation part has allowed us to improve our success rate. And our student success rate currently stands at 83%. And we have to applaud Professor Francois Stradum and his team at the Center for Teaching and Learning. And I know that he can't be here today. He's in the States attending a DREAM conference, again, on student success and interventions there. But Francois and his team, but he can't do that, or he couldn't do that without the engagement of the faculties. So I also would like to applaud the faculties, the faculty staff, academic staff, and support staff for their hard work and contribution to this achievement. We also focused on student development and student employability. And our understanding of that is now at such a level that that provides us a meaningful platform for the scaling of processes. Because that's what it's about. What we're doing now is we scale our interventions so that that could be utilized across the institution, but also across the sector. Industry and private sector involvement in the academic project remains strong through a range of academic advisory boards and also a renewed focus for the Career Services Department. And I don't know whether Belinda and her team is in the audience, Belinda Janneke, but with the Michael and Susan Delpit Foundation intervention, their investment, we probably have triple or quadruple the number of staff in the Career Services Department. And there's a renewed focus of engaging with the sector, the private sector, industry and commerce, to improve our employability, but also to understand that better. As we continue our understanding and actions on graduate desirability, in our Vision 130, we talk about graduate employability, graduate success, graduate development or student development, but we also said we want to move to the whole aspect of graduate desirability. So why is our graduates desirable? And we're still grappling with the full understanding how we're going to go about that. But that is important that we focus on that much more intentionally in 2024. And for that, we must develop more platforms and spaces for robust engagements, debate, critical thinking, and the exposure to diverse views for and amongst our students, because that is really what we want our students to develop. So platforms that we already have, such as the Global Citizen, where we engage with global leaders around the globe, the University of the Free State Thought Leadership Series, the numerous public lectures that happens across the university in faculties, and that also include the Vice-Chancellor's annual prestige lectures, must be used more effectively to stimulate intellectual vibrancy, used more effectively to stimulate that intellectual vibrancy, especially amongst our students, and to assist strengthening the pathway from undergraduate into postgraduate. So that is something that we has committed for 2024, and will we obviously work with the different faculties to be able, and the support departments, to be able that we work on the graduate desirability characteristics of our students. At the postgraduate level, our 2023 results showed a flat growth. We do get that expression, Philippe, flat growth, in postgraduate numbers, with an overall improvement in the other indicators of research output. So we have increased numbers of publications, articles, books, monographs, and so on. But our growth in our postgraduate generally, and I'm talking here specifically master's, honors master's, doctoral level, that has been relatively flat. Although we have seen an increase in multi and transdisciplinary projects across most of the faculties, more need to be done to incentivize this area of our research enterprise. We have committed ourselves in strengthening the support to the research and postgraduate environment. That's a commitment that we made last year already, and we will stay with that commitment as an institution. But besides the institutional commitment to strengthen that research and postgraduate environment, the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation is now also on board to assist in the capacity provision for research support. We're doing it through SARIMA. I think it stands for South African Research and Innovation Management Association, and they have selected 6 universities in South Africa. I think it's ourselves, Rhodes, UJ, Northwest, I can't remember what the other 2 are, that will get over a 3-year period that support to be able to build the capacity or strengthen the capacity in the research environment. That is now for research support to help our academics. We will be more focused in ensuring that our academic staff have PhDs. And I must say, over the last couple of years, we really have grown. Our permanent academic staff, I remember when we arrived, it was about at 42%. It's now at 62%. That's our permanent academic staff with PhDs. And we will continue to do that because that is the base of building supervisory capacity. Yesterday, myself and Professor Reddy addressed the participants in the future professoriate program and also the emerging scholars program. And we're talking about research supervision. Besides having PhDs to be able to make you eligible to do sort of supervisory supervision at the PhD level or as a doctoral level, we also have to unpack what other models is needed for supervisory support. The one-on-one model, which we all used to, or most of us used to, that model is still relevant, but I think we need to think at cohorts that we supervise together, co-supervision with other institutions. So that's something that Professor Reddy and his team, together with the deans, will unpack. But we also will be strengthening our research niche areas. We have got certain niche areas that are in place, but there are new ones that we have identified, and we will provide further capacity to strengthen them. We will attract and also retain exceptional and productive scholars, postdoctoral fellows. This year we got 193 postdoctoral fellows at the university, which is fantastic. And then obviously we need to build capacity in our postgraduate students to make sure that we see the growth. We will further intensify our strategic alliances and co-created projects with universities, local in South Africa and abroad, the private sector, industry and commerce, with foundations, but also with government. Projects such as, and I want to cite a few examples, the project between the University of the Free State and the South African National Biodiversity Institute, SANBI, which is led by the SARCI chairholder, Professor Colleen Poole-Albertine. We also have a multi-million rand grant from the Bristol Myers Squibb Foundation to develop and implement palliative care services in the Free State province. Besides the research, is also a fantastic example of engaged scholarship, how we impact society positively. And that is led by Professor Alicia Sheriff and Dr. Deleen van Jaarsveld in the Health Sciences faculty. Then we have Professor Gilbert Matsabisa through his Indigenous Knowledge Hub, securing over, it's just the reason because he seems to me he's securing a lot of funding, but securing over 35 million rand from government in terms of infrastructure and further research and also development of his products. But and I can probably cite more and more examples across the university. I also are particularly proud of Alexandra Howard, Prince, where's Prince? Who's sitting here? That's in Kwakwa, a PhD candidate in the Afro-Montane Research Unit, received US$ scholarships from the Bat Conservation International, that's the one area in the American Society of Mammalogists. And she was also recipient of the prestigious 2023, last year, the L'Oréal UNESCO for Women in Science National Award. Now that's a sort of a quality, and I've just cited an example, the quality of postgraduate students that we do have. There has never been a more important time in modern history for great universities to make a full contribution to society. Universities per se are social institutions and should, through its mandate, impact society positively. And hence the integration of different knowledge systems into the academic project is paramount to achieve visibility and impact. Through our scholarship of engagement, we must ensure that this becomes an integrated part of our academic project. And the Engaged Scholarship Committee of Senate, which is supported by the Engaged Scholarship and Community Engagement Department, will have their work cut out to direct and lead this critical aspect with faculties. So that for me is very important, because that is ultimately what the impact of our teaching and learning and the impact of our research is on our society. Digital transformation, digitalization, and the use of artificial intelligence are now part of our institutional DNA, supported through our digitalization strategy, which we probably will review. I had a discussion with Direp earlier this week, which will be reviewed in the course of this year, the digitalization strategy. But that digitalization aiming to lower operational cost. It's supposed to increase efficiencies. It is used to mitigate risks of organizations and the university. And it will help us streamlining our decision-making processes. But without a fully capacitated information, communication and technology services, ICTS, which form the backbone of the University of the Free State digital infrastructure, we will have a major challenge in ensuring a quality, forward-looking academic project. And I want to make this commitment here, that aspect of building capacity, ensuring that our digital infrastructure is matching our physical infrastructure at the highest level, that will receive our highest attention in 2024. Because most of our project work, even our physical infrastructure, include a backbone of digital infrastructure. And we need to make sure that we've got the capacity, we've got vacancies that's been filled, got a forward-looking program, and we drive that aggressively. And that's going to be one of the, it's going to sort of get our highest attention as the rectorate for 2024. The South African higher education sector is currently experiencing major financial challenges, varying from cuts to NSFAS, the block grant or subsidy, foundation and earmark grants, which also include clinical grant in health sciences, grants for expensive equipment, and also cuts that went through to the National Research Foundation that impact research grants to researchers in the system. Now, these challenges also provide us with opportunities, a means of thinking differently. Remember my opening remark, of not only thinking differently, but also testing our innovation, our resilience, and promoting an effective approach to integrating our resources. What that will ask us as a university is that we will have to work much more closer in an integrated way between academic and support departments, amongst faculties, to see how we can optimize resources. Also for different mindset. As you know that I'm chair of University South Africa, and one of the things that I've also been doing is to engaging with the CFOs amongst the sector to also have a change in mindset amongst the 26 universities that is not only about putting pressure on government not to cut, but also the question that I ask, what are your individual institutions doing to think differently in terms of financial resourcing? That's the difference in mindset. And I think that's what's going to be required from us. But it's not only from management, it's from all of us. So there are discussions that we might have, that we're thinking, should we do things differently? And when we do that, we impact change. And we all know how uncomfortable change is. Because the first thing that you do if you are encountered with change is to become defensive of the status quo. And I just want us to think our engagement would always be consultative. Because remember, the grabbing, the input of ideas to think on this is not only coming from management, it's coming from all of us. And we want to hear that voices. But we also have to understand what the challenges are. I want to state that the University of the Free State is financially sustainable. A statement that Professor Prakash always mentioned. But we need to be prudent in our resource management. We that are currently here at the institution has to leave the institution in a better state than when we found it. Even if the challenges are more severe, we still have to do that. And that is our role. And that is what we will be doing. So during last year, we have established a task team, which I led myself, focusing on recalibration of the University of the Free State budget to realize the objectives of Vision 130. And that task team will have smaller task team that do specific work, and we will continue to do that at least towards the middle 3/4 part of the year, because that task team shouldn't work forever, because we want to get to finality decisions, and we want to make sure that we communicate, engage with you on some of those as soon as possible, hear your input, and not and also create certainty within the university. So all the actions recommended by this task team will be engaged and discussed at appropriate levels within the university to provide certainty in the manner in which the recommendations of this calibration will be implemented. So it won't be done in a vacuum. We're going to hear your input, and we're going to discuss it at appropriate levels at the university, and you will know exactly, as we've done in COVID. When COVID struck, we got together as a team, we had our strategy, we have a revised budget, and by May, June of that year, we communicate that we're not going to shed any jobs. There was certainty, and we could work on the intention. That's exactly what we will be doing in this environment as well. So with respect to institutional culture, which is also a key part of our vision and our strategy, inclusivity, a sense of belonging, appreciating different views and diverse views. Although we have made good progress overall in this regard, we must continue working hard at it. Culture is something that you never have arrived. You constantly have to work at it. So the Unit for Institutional Change and Social Justice, the Human Resources Department, the faculties, support departments, inclusive of communication and marketing, we must be more proactive and integrated in our approach so that we can shift the needle in aligning our institutional culture with our values of Vision 130. And that will remain a key project. I don't want to actually call it a project, but for this address, I will call it a project every year, because we never can go into a comfort zone, and we always have to remind us, how do we actually build on what we had the previous year? There are challenges every year that challenge our strategy, our thinking, and it's good, because that challenges incidents that happen just ground us again in our thinking, that we must never think that we are doing well and just accept that the programs that we are doing are working. It's constantly challenging that, testing it, and that's also one of our key objectives. So each year brings us closer to 2034 and less time to deliver our committed deliverables and articulated goals. So this is what I'm going to ask from you. Within your own sphere of operation, I'm asking a renewed commitment from you to own that space, because that's the space where you operate, that you know. To understand how your space is connected to Vision 130 and our strategy that supports Vision 130. And to share an unrelenting ambition to deliver on Vision 130. So colleagues, 2024 is the year to intentionally socialize Vision 130 and our strategy throughout the university at all levels. So if we go down at any level in the university, we would like people to know about our strategy and our Vision 130. It's an intentional socialization, and hence facilitating an effective implementation on our committed goals. Let's make that our focus for 2024. Welcome again to the year 2024. Thank you.
Now, I didn't hear some of you clapping. Let's put hands together. Now, VC, I know you didn't have a chance to look at me and Philippe. I mean, as economists, we were smiling all the way. And that was a fantastic, fantastic delivery, of course, reflecting on that. And those of you know a little bit of economy, you actually reflected on the Black Swan events. I mean, yes, the things that happened in the world, but more locally, I think you reflected on our subsidy cuts and, of course, our tuition fee decreases. It does put us in a bit of constraint. But I think where you're taking us, you're saying, but there are black rhinos. And when you see, gray rhinos. When you see a gray rhino, what will you do? Are you going to stand there in your comfort, sit there in your comfort zone? You're going to start to move, am I right? Find different ways. So there we see the gray rhinos. We need to do something. And I think you implored on people to look at what's in your space, what you can do. But it's not doom and gloom, because there are silver linings. If you look at our success rates, okay? Most important, Nico, I can say, we are financially sustainable at this point in time. But if you take all that money and dump into salaries and say we give concessions, forget 2025. You're going to start, this university, those of you who are long enough know we retrenched 600 to 800 employees. That will not happen now, and it must never happen in the future, because when you retrench people, where would they find a job? So we see your speech, and as you said, within your own sphere of commitment, in your own spaces, you need to make that effort to contribute towards the success of the university. You need to make that effort to contribute towards Vision 130. And Vision 130, we see, I assure you, the teams that you have here will be realized. I won't be here, but you'll invite me for the celebration. I'll still be alive. With that, colleagues, I want to invite the choir again. This was a special request. They sing this medley, and it's a medley that has got historical meanings, Shosholoza and Dubula. Don't worry, Kurt. This is not Dubula Bunu. This is Dubula. and Prof. Paul Obolosm, I think, get rid of the farmers again, but no. Welcome to the choir. Choir, welcome.
Jilo jilo upeteni ngomlomo. Takana jilo jilo upeteni ngomlomo. Nipeta maso sana lwa. Uasa penge ngavutwabo. Takana jilo jilo upeteni ngomlomo. Takana jilo jilo upeteni ngomlomo. Nipeta maso sana lwa. Uasa penge ngavutwabo. Bom, 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 bom. Chisa! Dubula fanandi. Sizoba dubula. Fanandi. Sizoba dubula. Fanandi. Sizoba dubula. Nifaka tololero lu. Dubula fanandi.
Now I know you all wanted to jiva as well. You should have done that, because why did you wait? This is our sort of a national song. Although it was from the migrant workers that were leaving us and going back to the homelands and singing this song and saying, we are taking this train from South Africa and getting back home, the excitement to get back home. And I'm sure you have an excitement to get back to work. I won't hold you too long. So let me again thank Prof. Peterson. Prof. Peterson, thank you very much. Thank you for being the great leader you are and leading us through difficult times. And you spoke of COVID. And of course, we have challenging times now, but I know we'll be a success, and Vision 2034, that's Vision 130, will be realized. And with your leadership, we are in the right hands. I also want to thank all members of Rectorate, deans, every staff member. I want to thank our colleagues out there in Kwakwa, if you can see me clearly. Thank you very much for being on the platform. I want to thank all guests, but more importantly, I want to thank all organizers. Sound, music, videos, very importantly, our translators in the front that have come up and able to, of course, relate to everybody, so nobody is left behind. You know, students say everybody must be registered. Nobody must be left behind. But we can't be everything to every student. We've done well. It puts our debt high, but we've done, and I want to really say thank you very much to the ISRC and the student leadership for a sort of pleasant, in a way, registration. And now and then a few bubbles, but I think it's one of the better years that we had, and we'll continue to do that. So thank you very much to all of you for attending. We are now going to conclude with the national anthem sung and led, and all of you need to join in the national anthem, by our award-winning, internationally awarded-winning choir, the University of Free State Choir. And the VC did say we're financially sustainable, and you can't spend all the money in 1 year, but we did provide some refreshments. So when you go out, there are refreshments out here. All of you don't go to the front table. As you walk through the arches there, you'll find more tables outside. So do mingle, do network, do chat. I'm sure some of you haven't seen each other since last year. Have some networking, do some talking, do some eating. But of course, you'll have to get back to work because I know it's a weekend, right? It's Friday, but you can only say waza weekend, waza at 4:30. So over to the choir to bring us into the national anthem.
Said